Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to this deep dive.
Hey there.
Today, we are zooming in on a city that's, well, small in size, but absolutely massive in character. Reykjavik, Iceland.
Yeah, definitely.
We're taking a close look at what makes the world's northernmost capital tick, its unique history, culture, and that undeniable spirit.
And the sources we're using to do that are, well, they're fantastic. We've got an article that gives a really solid overview of the city and, its key places.
Right.
And then we have a transcript from a video featuring a local guide.
Ah.
That guide provides those crucial ground-level insights. This stuff you only really get from living their everyday life, cultural nuances, those very specific experiences.
Exactly. So our mission is to pull out those essential nuggets, the surprising facts, the core understanding from these sources. We want to understand what genuinely makes Reykjavik so vibrant and, yes, unforgettable.
Mm-hmm.
So you ready to jump in with us?
Absolutely. And where the sources take us first is right back to the very beginning, the origin story of the city.
Which, for Reykjavik, starts way back, 874 AD, with the Norse settler Ingolfur Arnarsson.
Yeah.
That date alone feels significant, the very start of permanent settlement.
It does, and the name itself comes from that moment. Reykjavik means smoky bay, apparently inspired by the steam Ingolfur saw rising from the hot springs.
Oh, wow.
It paints such a clear picture of that, initial encounter with the landscape.
Smoky Bay. It feels perfect for a place built on geothermal activity. So it starts as one settlement, one farm. How does it grow into a capital?
Well, it was a very slow burn. For centuries, it remained a relatively quiet spot.
Okay.
But the sources point to the 18th century as a turning point. It became a more significant trading post, primarily under Danish rule at the time.
Right, building gradually.
Yeah.
And then the big leap comes in 1944.
That's the key date. That's when Iceland gained full independence, and Reykjavik officially steps into its role as the nation's political and cultural heart.
So it transforms from a trading village to the central hub of a new republic.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so you have this long history, starting from volcanic steam and a single settler, evolving slowly under foreign rule, and then kind of bursting into being as an independent capital. How does that history shape the city's character today, based on the sources?
Well, the sources describe it as small, globally speaking, but with this huge presence. It definitely punches above its weight.
It sounds like it has a very specific atmosphere, energetic, welcoming, and the sources use words like quirky.
Yeah, quirky comes up.
It seems to keep that close-knit feeling you expect from a small town, even with its status as a modern capital.
That combination is fascinating, isn't it? It's also framed as a city of powerful contrasts.
Oh, yeah.
You have the obvious ones, geothermal heat right alongside those icy northern seas, but also ancient sagas informing modern identity and high-tech innovation thriving in this historically isolated place.
That tension, that blend of opposites, feels key to its identity. And the sources highlight the role of hardship, particularly the weather, in shaping this resilience. What do they say about dealing with that challenging environment?
They talk about the reality of Icelandic weather. It's unpredictable, it's harsh.
Right.
And the history of the country is one of overcoming significant difficulties. You just have to.
This comes through in a practical way, too.
Yeah.
The article mentions the architecture, those incredibly colorful wooden houses.
Yeah, love those.
And the video transcript adds this detail about them being covered in corrugated iron.
Yes, the local guide calls corrugated iron a revolutionary material.
Really?
Specifically because it's so effective at protecting against that crazy Icelandic weather, as they put it. It's a design choice born directly out of necessity and resilience.
And the sources also point out the brilliant psychological effect. The bright colors really stand out and bring cheer during those famously dark, long winters.
Totally. It's a practical solution that becomes a vibrant cultural statement.
Makes sense.
And speaking of that resilience, there's an Icelandic saying that encapsulates this mentality, mentioned in the sources, "Þetta reddast."
The Reddast. The sources translate this to something like, it's going to be fine, or don't worry about it, it's going to work out, something like that.
Exactly. It's more than just optimism. It feels like a deep-seated cultural response to facing challenges. You deal with what's in front of you, and somehow you trust it will work out.
It's a powerful reflection of that history of overcoming. I
Definitely.
get the sense it's a culture that has just had to adapt and persist, and that saying is the verbal shorthand for it. Okay, let's shift gears slightly and talk about navigating this unique city. Where do the sources tell us we absolutely need to visit?
Right, the landmarks. the sources guide us to several essential spots.
Sure.
Visually, you can't miss Hallgrímskirkja Church.
It looks absolutely striking in photos, yeah. Inspired by the basalt lava columns you see around Iceland. And the article confirms you get those incredible panoramic views if you go up the tower.
Worth the climb, I bet. Then there's Harpa Concert Hall, a much more contemporary landmark. Its glass facade is designed to reflect the environment, constantly changing with the light. It sounds like a building that's truly alive.
That interplay with the natural light must be stunning. And for something completely different, there's Perlan, the futuristic dome on the hill.
Yeah, Perlan sounds like it wraps up several key Icelandic themes under one roof. The sources mention an indoor ice cave. How cool is that?
An indoor ice cave?
Yeah, and a planetarium, and exhibits focused on glaciers and volcanoes, and of course the 360-degree observation deck for those expansive views.
So you get a mix of architecture, views, and natural science all in one spot. What about diving into the history a bit more?
For that, the sources point to the National Museum of Iceland. It's the place to trace that story we touched on earlier, from the first Viking settlers all the way to modern Iceland.
Makes sense. And out on the waterfront, there's a sculpture that sounds really symbolic, the Sun Voyager, or Solfar.
Yes, that elegant steel sculpture shaped like a Viking ship. The sources describe its symbolism representing discovery, freedom, and hope. It's also noted as a prime location for experiencing the dramatic natural phenomena like the northern lights or the midnight sun.
So you have landmarks that speak to the past, the natural world, modern design, and cultural values. And what about the everyday energy, the streets?
Ah, that's Reykjavik Street, described as the main artery for shopping and nightlife.
It's painted as this really vibrant place. Colorful buildings, boutiques, street art everywhere. Cafes and bars. Sounds great.
And the video transcript adds a really specific detail here. Reykjavik is also known as Rainbow Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's dedicated to gay pride and stands as a powerful symbol of equality and human rights in the city.
That's fantastic context.
Yeah, it gives the street scene an extra layer of meaning.
It's not just a commercial street. It has this important cultural significance. Now let's get to some truly local flavors and experiences. The downtown flea market sounds intriguing.
The sources describe it as a very characteristic spot, primarily catering to locals. And it's in this context that the local guide in the video brings up something iconic: Icelandic sweaters.
The lopapeysa, made from that proper Icelandic sheep wool. The guide's passion for it is clear. They call it the best wool in the world.
And they give us the backstory. The sheep have been roaming freely there since 874 AD again, connecting right back to the very beginning of the settlement.
Wow, okay.
This wool has evolved to be perfect for the rough weather. The guide talks about feeling that long history, that connection to the past, right in the wool itself.
Wearing a piece of history, literally. That's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
Okay, from something comforting like a wool sweater to something, well, notoriously challenging. We had to talk about the fermented shark.
Ah, Carl. Yep. The sources explain its origin as a hardship food from those early settlers. Necessity truly was the mother of invention, or perhaps unique cuisine, in Iceland.
And the crucial detail the sources emphasize is why it has to be fermented. Fresh Greenland shark is toxic.
Right, toxic.
Because it contains high levels of ammonia, basically urine, in its tissues. You can't just eat it raw.
No, definitely not. So the fermentation process isn't just for flavor. It's essential to break down those toxins and make it edible.
How they do it?
The sources detail the method: chopping the shark into pieces, burying it underground for a period of time, and then hanging it up to dry and cure, getting rid of that ammonia.
The process alone.
Yeah.
Burying it, then hanging it. It sounds intense.
And the local guide in the video transcript has this amazing, slightly bewildered line, wondering how many attempts it must have taken the early settlers to figure out this method without, accidentally poisoning themselves.
It's a completely valid question.
Yeah.
Trial and error with potentially lethal consequences.
Exactly. And the description of actually tasting it is just vivid. The guide says it's initially very fishy, which you'd expect.
Okay.
But then you get that distinct aftertaste, which they compare to being in a gas station because of the ammonia.
A gas station.
Yeah.
That's a powerful, if not exactly appetizing descriptor.
Definitely unforgettable, as the sources attest. And usually it's chased with a shot of Iceland's potent schnapps known as Black Death.
Ah, Brennivin.
Which probably helps wash away the gasoline notes, I'd imagine.
I imagine that's a necessary pairing. So from ancient history and hardy sheep to toxic shark and gas station aftertastes, Reykjavik presents Quite the cultural mosaic.
It really does.
The sources also note that English is widely spoken, which is certainly helpful for anyone wanting to navigate this unique place and maybe try the hakka.
Absolutely. It makes the city very accessible despite its distinct culture and language.
So we've taken this deep dive through Reykjavik, exploring its origins, its resilient character, its key landmarks, and those wonderfully unique cultural elements like the wool and the shark.
We've seen how history, the dramatic natural environment, and sheer human ingenuity have all woven together to create this vibrant, unforgettable city.
Yeah.
You've now gotten a real glimpse into the layers of what makes Reykjavik so special.
As you think about this, consider that idea of resilience forged by hardship and isolation. How does a culture develop such a robust ability to find beauty and even humor in overcoming immense challenges? Think about that process of figuring out how to eat toxic food without dying, or finding joy in building colorful houses to brighten the darkest, longest nights.
What does that incredible adaptability and spirit tell us about the human capacity to not just survive, but to thrive and create something truly unique, even in the most demanding circumstances?
Something to ponder as you go about your day.